Hi guys, welcome back to our second week of Parable Mondays. Last week we talked about how Jesus told us we don't have to worry. And the challenge was to think about something that has been making you worry and to pray about it every day. So for myself, this last week, whenever I began to worry about something and it was just like heavy on my mind, I just stopped real quick and prayed, and something that I noticed was that God helped me to feel peace about all those little things and helped me to not worry about it as much. So that was the challenge for last week, and without further ado, let's get into our second Monday and second week of parables.
Hi, my name is Summer, and today's parable is the parable of the wise and the foolish children. So have you ever heard the story of three little pigs? So the story goes, there's three pigs, and each of them goes to build a house. The first little pig goes, and when he goes to get his materials, he goes and gets straw. So have you ever seen straw? It's basically just weeds, just leaves and everything. So can you imagine making a house full of made out of straw? So when the big red wolf comes along, he huffs and puffs, and the straw house just goes all away. So the second little pig, he's a little smarter than his brother, and he goes and builds his house out of sticks. So you all know what sticks are, right? They're sturdier than straws, but they're still not the best thing you could make a house out of. Can any of you imagine building your house out of sticks or living in one? So the big bad wolf comes along, and he huffs and puffs, and he can't blow it all away on the first time. He huffs and puffs again. This time the stick house just collapses, and he gets the second piggy. So this third brother, he's pretty smart. He goes, and when he's getting materials to build his house, he gets bricks. So he builds his house with bricks and puts them line by line and takes his time. When the big bad wolf comes along, he huffs and puffs, and it doesn't work. He huffs and puffs again, and it still doesn't work. He even puffs and puffs a third time, and it just didn't work. You see, Jesus told a story a lot like this. He told us about the wise and the foolish builder. So the foolish builder, he goes and he builds his house right on the sand. So where this house was, there was waves, there was winds, there was rain. This house didn't last very long. So there's this wise builder. He goes and he builds his house on the rock. So the rock's pretty sturdy. The wind can't really affect it because it's on a good foundation. The waves can't reach it because they're waves. The wind and the rain just doesn't work. You see, Jesus' word is like a rock, just like this one. If you build your lives on the rock, then you'll stay firm while you live. But if you build your lives around something like sand, it's just gonna fall through. You see, the three little pigs did this too. And if you build the first two just went and built their lives on something, on straws and sticks. Like, you can't really imagine building something on that, but they did. So some people build their lives with money. It seems like a pretty good idea at first. Money's everywhere. But in the end, it's not really worth much. It just falls through. Other people build their lives on something like what other people think of them. This might seem like a good idea too. Like, if everybody likes you, what's more than you get? What else can you have? But in the end, that's pretty useless too. So when you're trying to build your life around something, try to build something around Jesus' word, like his love or his kindness, because that's the best foundation you can have.
Awesome. Thank you, Summer. What a great example of the three little pigs and the wise builder. So in the three little pigs, she said that they built their lives around things that didn't matter. So like what people thought about you or how much money you have, all that stuff in the end goes away. But Jesus and his word, it remains solid. It can be our solid foundation. So when we're building our lives around things, it needs to be on who God is and his word. So awesome, Summer. So I bet you guys are wondering, well, what's the challenge for this week with that? So this week's challenge is to let's think and examine our lives and what we're building our lives on. Are you always worried and concerned about what other people think about you? Are you just thinking that your whole aspiration in life is to gain money? If so, that means you're probably building your whole life around that. So this week's challenge is to examine your life and think about, what am I building my life on? And if it's not Jesus, we can try and pray that God would help us to build our lives on his word, what he says, and his character. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.